Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here today. So make sure you subscribe, like, and share my videos and have a good time watching. I'm so excited for this DIY. So I had picked up 3 of these signs at Home Goods for $5 on clearance. And as you could tell, they're dirty. They've been in my garage, storing them in there. And I was like, what am I going to do with them? And they had these little pom-pom things swayed across the top. So I can imagine it'd be perfect for a brand new baby's room, whatever. But I don't have any brand new babies. And the little tiny square frame just didn't make any sense to me in this big, huge square. So, and I'm not really, everything has blessed on it. Yes, I'm blessed. I love my children. But I didn't need to say it in letters on a on a frame. So if that's your jam, that's your jam, but it's just not mine anymore. So I just scraped it off with a little scraper, which I got from the Dollar Tree. I love those. They come in like a 4 pack. They're the best. I use them for all kinds of stuff. And then I'm just prying up this little frame, and you guessed it, I will save it because I will use it for something else. So it had these little nables. I don't know what a navel is. They had this little nails left in that were holding it on. So I just took my pliers and I just pulled them out um, and threw those away. And then I'm just going to use my little scraper again to get the adhesive that they had put between the little frame and the big frame to hold it on. So as you can see, there's the little nail holes in there. Not a big problem because I'm going to paint over them and then there's going to be a picture over the top of that. So, and you could see where I scraped off the word blessed. So I just go ahead and take a sanding block and I just give it a light sand just to kind of take off any excess, anything that's on there. And then I thought I was going to use my heat tool as like a blow dryer, but the wind that comes off of those is not that strong. So it didn't work. So I had to turn it sideways and tap off the excess sand that came from that. And then I'm just going to use my Waverly in white, which is almost out. And it's like I know that they carry the different brand at Walmart. Some of the Walmarts still carry Waverly. I'm not sure if any around me carry it. So I'm going to have to come up with a new brand of paint that I'm going to be using. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and put them down in the comments below because I love to know what kind of paint everybody uses. So I'm just going over this frame here. I should have measured it so I could tell you what size it is, but it's pretty decent size. Um, and I'm just going to, give it a fresh coat of paint so that it looks all even. So this frame is from the Dollar Tree. It was one of their canvases, and I just pulled the canvas off. I was using it to try some painting, and I didn't like what I did, but I was like, "Ooh, I'll save the frame. I could use it for something." So as you can see, I'm almost out of my Elephant Waverly chalk paint. So instead of pouring the paint into my little water cup, I had to pour the water into the paint container and shake it up to get it out. So I'm basically using this like a stain. I was trying to match the frame that is on the existing frame, the bigger one. Um, so I just wanted to stain it a gray. And the best way to do it is gray paint and water. It doesn't have to be chalk paint. It could be acrylic paint. I love it. It's the best thing ever. And just a little advice to help things when you're staining them, especially on these really rough little wood frames that you get off the canvases, is spray it down with some water first and then apply your stain on top. And then it just goes on so much smoother. So I'm going to go and I'm going to stain all the way around so that every part that you're going to be able to see is going to be stained that beautiful gray color. The little spray bottle that I use is a continuous spray water bottle. I got it off of Amazon. I love it. I use it all the time for many, many different things while I'm crafting. So I just put the frame on there. I traced in the inside and then so that I know where I'm going to set it down once I put the adhesive on. So I'm using hot glue as my adhesive for this. You can use wood glue if you'd like, or a combination of them both, whatever works. But the hot glue, it's in my hallway. This is sufficient enough. And these little canvas frames are super lightweight anyways. So I go ahead, I put it on. This is me looking at it up close, making sure that it was all right, trying to get some of the excess glue that I had squirted out the sides there. And there you go. So now I've made this into something completely different, but the same idea. So I love it. So I just wanted to add a little bit of white. So I dry brushed a little bit of white on there just to kind of change up that gray to kind of mimic the look of the one behind it. Now, this is a picture of my son when he was 3 years old. He's 10 now, but it is my favorite picture of him because since the time he could talk, he told me he wanted to be a farmer. And still to this day, that's what he wants to be. So he loves all things tractors. um, he knows what all the equipment is for, what it does, what it's called. I mean, it's amazing. We're driving down the road and he's like, "Oh, that's a so and so, and it does this, and it can lift this," and it's just crazy what he knows. So he loves it. He loved it from that time, and he still loves it to this day. And I had these in just like regular picture frames that I had painted. When I was doing more of an eclectic look, I'm trying to go over to um, more of a modern boho farmhouse look. I'm all over the place with it, but here it is in its glory in the little hallway where I put it. And I love that I used the double-sided tape so that I could change out the pictures as the time goes. But this one's my favorite. I'm sure it's going to stay there. I hope you guys love this little project as much as I do. So just know if you see something and it's not exactly what you want it to be, it could be exactly what you want it to be with just a couple little changes. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. So these little houses I got from the Bullseye spot in Target for $5. And I got these a while ago because remember, I'm using what I already have and I had to have them, but I didn't do nothing with them. So, so we're going to use them right now. So I'm just going to go to take them out of the package. They're really cute. The best thing about these little wooden houses is you could easily do this yourself. Like easily cut little house shapes yourself. Michael's has them in like that front area, the dollar area or whatever. I always see them there. The Dollar Tree has all kinds of different house shape things that they do and that you can alter and make look like something else. So you don't have to have this in order to make this project. So I'm going to use some bamboo skewers and I'm going to do, texture is a really big thing right now. So I wanted to add some texture to my little houses. So I'm going to do 2 inches up from the bottom on all of these. So you'll see as it comes later that two of them are the same and one of them isn't. Anyways, but I had it. I literally, when I set them down, I had no idea what I was going to do with them. And so you're literally seeing the creative process as it goes. So I just knew that I wanted texture and I had these little houses and I was going to make some magic happen. So I'm just measuring. So, because I want them to be equally the same distance from the bottom, so it has some kind of uniform look to it. So I'm just going to take these bamboo skewers, which I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I have several packs of these. I always pick them up in the summertime because you can use them with so many projects. So I'm just using my wire cutters because I use wire cutters for everything and a sanding block to kind of sand down some of those crazy ends that I was making. Another thing that I use for the skewers and wood dowels and stuff is the dog nail clippers from the Dollar Tree. I couldn't find mine at the time, so I used what I had in front of me. So I'm just going to use hot glue here. Like you could use wood glue if you wanted to. You could use E6000 super glue, whatever you got in hands. But you guys know I am the hot glue queen. I love hot glue. I use it for everything. And only one time ever did I have a problem with something that I made with hot glue. And that was I had made a wreath for a friend of mine that lives in Texas. And she put it on her front door, and half of it was in hot glue, and half of it was like wired on. And literally, on one of their like super hot, balmy days, the whole thing like melted to the floor. So, note to self, if you're going to put anything outside, make sure that you're using extra stuff besides hot glue. But I've used hot glue on my wreaths for my door, which doesn't get any direct sunlight, But I do live where it gets, 105, 106, 110 in the summertime, and nothing has ever melted off. So if it's going to be in direct sunlight, no hot glue. No direct sunlight, you should be good. So I just went around and cut these off. So I just used my little clippers and I cut them all evenly. And then I kind of sanded over it because, as you saw, there was a ton of glue all over the place because, that's what happens when you're using hot glue and doing these things. And then I wanted to add a few skewers going down in a different direction. Because if you watch TikTok, seen Pinterest, anything, if you looked on Pottery Barn or West Elm or Restoration Hardware, you're seeing like texture, different directions. Like that's the look that's happening right now. And I'm all for it. I love texture. I think texture is a great thing to add to your house. So I decided to do a little mini version on this little house. So I'm just going to glue all these down right here. So the funny thing about this is it ends up kind of looking like a legit house with a garage door. That was never my intention, but that's how it ended up looking. And it's in my hallway um, underneath where the picture frame that I made in the last DIY is. And it's so cute. Like it doesn't even, I don't even notice it once it's put in its little area. But yeah, so it ends up looking a little bit like a garage. So you can either, do this part, not do this part. If I were to do it again, I would not put these little pieces on the side. Um, I would just use the faux leather on the bottom. So I'm also going to use faux leather with these houses. I did pick it up at Amazon, and if I remember, I will link it in the description box below so that you can go find some too. I love it so much. I've wrapped it around the glass cylinder vases from the Dollar Tree, and it just like takes a regular glass vase and like puts it up a notch, and it's adorable. So I just cut a little piece out, and the nice thing about this is it's self-adhesive. So I'm just going to pull the backing off, and it's just going to stick right to my little wood house. And it's repositionable. Like it, I mean, this is good stuff. I love it. And I just folded it down. I wanted it to be a little long so it gives me a clean edge on the bottom there. And there she is, my little house with the garage. So this next one, even though I had drawn the line, I decided I wanted the whole thing to be leather. So I just laid out the thing. I pushed in where the tip of the house is, and then I just peeled it off and stuck it on. So razor blade, also from the Dollar Tree. This awesome cutting mat, also from the Dollar Tree. I had bought several when, um, they were only $1. However, I have misplaced them. So the last time I was at the Dollar Tree, I did pick up a new one. So I did pay $125 for this. But let me tell you, guys, that it's so worth it because it is the perfect little size when you're doing these little projects. So easy peasy. That one was super, super easy to do. So this one, I'm using ink by Waverly, just black chalk paint. Use whatever brand you have. And I'm just going to paint the bottom of the little house on the front and the both sides. Now, I'd love to know what your guys' decor style is. Like, what do you, what do you go for? Do you go for eclectic? Do you go for boho? Do you have farmhouse? Do you have modern? I love to hear how other people decorate their houses. Mine is just literally a menagerie of boho, farmhouse, modern. They say modern farmhouse is going out, like 2022 modern farm. But you know what I say? Do what you like. Do what makes you happy. Who cares what anybody else is doing and what's popular and not popular? I just do what I like. So when I see newer trends come in, I like to work on crafts with them just to give everybody a chance to try something different in their house. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But you know what? It's fun to do little crafts like this that I may not have done before because I was trying to add the different textures, the different colors in. Um, these just turned out super cute. And the nice thing about the leather is that um, the antique wax by Waverly is what I'm staining it with. It just wipes right off. So there they are, super cute. So then I decided that one of them needed a little extra zhizh. So here I am with my stapler. Got some eucalyptus, a little bit of pampas grass, and then I pulled another piece off of something else and glued it over the top to cover up the staple, and that is it. And I just positioned them. You know, I have the floral one in the middle and the other two on the sides. And let me know what you guys think of this because I thought it came out cute. So this right here is a flower sack cloth from the Dollar Tree. Yes, they actually had them. When I saw them, I picked them up because I haven't seen them since. So it's one of those things that when you see them, get them. So originally, when I first laid this out, I was going to use that stencil and I was going to use my ink paste by Chacateur to um, basically stencil on the design. However, when I went to go pull that design on the vinyl, it did not want to come off. I am not vinyl savvy. I don't use it very often. I have the Cricut Joy just so that I can have my little projects when I need them. But the good news is I had iron on vinyl. So I took the same design, which I purchased from a website, and I cannot remember for the life of me what the website is, but I had never used them. So here we are using something I've never used before with the flour sacks that I've had for probably a year. So, but Dollar Tree has all kinds of white and solid colored dish towels and stuff like that. So you can just add your own little pizzazz to those dish towels, you know, the kind that you don't really use that you just put up because they're pretty. That's what this is going to be because heaven forbid somebody touch this white and I get angry with them. So I'm just using my mini heat press from Cricut. I've seen them on Amazon for as low as $15. Or if you have an iron, you can use your iron to do this. So I just put a piece of paper in between the transfer and the heat press, like parchment paper, wax paper, whatever you have. Just something to go in between them because you don't want to go directly onto that plastic. But these weed so well, they come out super cute, and I absolutely love this. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. Just a little something. I love the olives. I love the wreaths. This is me all the way. Super simplistic, but yet gorgeous. So tell me what you guys think, and definitely let me know if you want to give this a try because I'd love to know if you did. Okay, so this right here is a wood round that I picked up at the Dollar Tree a while back, and I just sprayed it down with some water, and I'm going to use my antique wax to stain this a darker brown. So it wasn't spreading out as much as I like, but I have the best solution for that, and that is a baby wipe. Baby wipes and antique wax are the best. It just spreads it all around. I absolutely love it. So if you don't have antique wax, you can use brown acrylic paint and some water, or you can use actual stain. I don't use actual stain because of the smell, number one, and number two, the dry time. I ain't got time to sit around and wait for stain to dry. So this dries super quick. So after I used the baby wipe, I just added a little bit more in the areas where it seemed a little light, and then I used my heat tool to dry it. So I'm going to use painter's tape right here. I'm going to section off an area that I'm going to paint black. And my lines are not the straightest. You just have, I was just kind of going for it. So we're going to use black chalk paint here. Learn from me, you only need one coat. I wish I would have done one coat. It would have looked better, but I did two. But with the chalk paint, you don't really need two coats on something like this. So you could do whatever color works best in your house. Um, you know, greens are really hot right now for 2022. So if you wanted to do, if you're trying to incorporate green in your house, but you don't know quite where to do it, this would be a cute way to do it. Just something small and simple on a sign that you're going to hang on your door would be a nice place to put it. So I use my heat tool, dry my paint, and here I go with my second coat here. And I know that there's ways that you put something down before you put the color, like um, typically like if you're using like this, if it was a white background, I'd put white down first over the tape and then go through with the other color, but I didn't do that. I think you can use Mod Podge as well. It's so fun to play with. So it came out okay. I mean, there's a little bit of air there. And then with this layer, I had put my brush in my paint water bowl, and it was way too wet. So when I pull the tape up, you're going to see that it kind of like bled into the wood, but that's okay. It's just for me. And learn from my mistakes. Make sure your paint is dry, your paintbrush is dry before you dip it in your paint. Dip it on a surface that's porous like this and that will suck up the water, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to see the little lines that kind of bleed down. But still, I like it. It's hanging on my door. I think it looks super cute. So next here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add welcome to into the black area there, and a little bit down into the wood. So I'm going to use my Chalk Couture stuff. So I have my surface wax. I use this to protect the paint from being peeled off from the transfer itself, because it is sticky, reusable, fabulous. I love these. I'm not a designer anymore, guys, but if you're interested in getting some of this yourself and you're looking for someone who's a designer, my friend Melissa at All Things Crafty here on YouTube is a designer, and you could get all of your information from her, and she is just amazing, and she is definitely someone that will help you figure out what you need. So I am going to put this here. I wanted it to be just a little bit on the bottom into the wood. I didn't want it to just be in the black, and I did it a little bit off to the side. So it's not supposed to be centered. It is a little bit off to the side. And I'm going to use my white chalk paste to um, paint on the stencil part. I love it because you only need a tiny little bit, and I was stirring it up in the little pot there. I put it on with my little squeegee, and then I squeegee off the excess. Super simple, easy to do, and it's reusable. I can use it up to like 20 times or something. I just take really good care of my stencils so that I can use them over and over again, and it's so much better than wasting a ton of vinyl. So that came out super cute. So now I love pampas grass. If you don't know that about me, I love it. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I like to just get the little ones so they don't make a big mess. But I'm just going to add that here to my sign, and I'm going to use my handy dandy stapler to staple it on. Now, as you can see, this wood is thin. So I did actually staple into my desk, but that's okay because I just used little pliers and I bent the staples back on the thing. So I also wanted to add a little eucalyptus because that's the decor in my house. I have pampas grass and eucalyptus everywhere. And you're going to see me make a hot mess with my staples, all the stuff that was on this eucalyptus. As you could see, when you touch it, it like the fuzzy look to it, the frosted look comes off. So word to wise, just don't touch it that much. I get my pampas grass and my eucalyptus from Amazon, and I love it. So you see the little dusties, but that's okay. I got it all off. I hope you guys love this as much as I do. So this is a really cute DIY. I got this nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. Now, I've had this for a while, so for 9.5 feet for $1 was totally worth it. I think you can actually get a better deal for nautical rope on Amazon. Um, if I remember to look up the link to the ones that I've bought previously, I will put it in the description box below. And honestly, you really need a silicone mat to do this. I thought I was going to be able to do it on just that cutting mat, but it was just sticking. So I just put a little hot glue in the end to keep it from fraying open. And then I'm just going to hot glue and make a big circle out of the hot glue. I mean, out of the rope in the hot glue. So I've done this many ways before. So I've done cardboard, I've done chargers, I've done those big round clear like serving trays at the Dollar Tree. I've done those instead of just doing it without a backing to it. But I knew that I wanted this to have a little bit looseness to its form, if you know what I mean. So I didn't necessarily want like a solid back. Um, so I'm just gonna wrap and glue, wrap and glue, wrap and glue. And then there's tricks to help get rid of some of that excess glue, which you'll see in a minute here. Um, you can use a lighter. I use the tip of my hot glue gun to like melt down the glue so it doesn't look so, see there I am, I'm doing that right there, to where it doesn't look so messy, I guess is a good word to put it. But you know me and my hot glue, I had it all over the place, all over me. um, but yeah, so I'm just gonna I use 4 of these nautical ropes to make this. So for me, this was a $4 project and it came out so cute. And I'm just gonna keep going around and around and around. So I use um, the tip of my hot glue gun and a lighter. I suggest using like a stick lighter because then you have a much bigger gap between you and the flame. But I couldn't find my stick lighters because they were all outside like for the barbecue pit, and then it rained and then they didn't work anymore. So um, use what you got, right? So this was actually really soothing, extremely time consuming, but soothing. So I just put on a movie and I wrapped and wrapped and wrapped. And I love these because, you see them all over the internet right now. They're those wall hangings that look like they came out of your grandma's kitchen. And you used to be able to find that stuff at the thrift store for super cheap. And let me tell you, because it's become popular again, which I've always had stuff like this in my house, but now because it's became popular again, you just can't find that stuff anymore. So I decided I was looking through a website, West Elm. I love their stuff, but it's so expensive. And they had a set of 3 of these, obviously a little bit more intricate than what I'm going to do here, but it was on sale for 150, on sale for $150. And I was like, no, 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 I can make that. So I made mine for $4. So I'm just going to continue on with the next rope. I put a little hot glue in there so it keeps the end. Those ends are tricky sometimes. So I just put it in there just kind of, um, hold in the end there. And then I use whatever I can to stick in there so I don't burn my fingers off. And then I just keep going. So literally this is just lots of gluing, lots of spinning, lots of gluing, lots of spinning. And then I changed my camera view and the lighting. And, we just had a lot of fun with this. Because I said it probably took me, I want to say 30 minutes or more to do this. Lots of glue stick changes. And you don't have to use as much glue as I did. Some people don't use glue on every inch of it. I did because, like I said, there's no backing to it, so I really wanted it to have something to hold on to. If you were using a backing, you wouldn't need as much glue. So I'm going to use my blue tape here, and I'm just going to tape off some kind of design that I was thinking in my head. Um, Something just a little bit more abstract, give it that little modern look to it. And then I'm going to use black chalk paint and a stencil brush that I got from the Dollar Tree. These are a good buy even for $1.25. They come 3 to the pack, and I have used these over and over and over again, and they're just hanging on, doing so good. And then once you paint over all that glue, you can't even see it. And it actually kind of adds to the whole design of the texture and everything. Because remember, 2022 is about texture. Texture in your house. You can also use your heat gun to warm up some of that glue and get it to like smooth out some. So this is the design I have so far. I just connected um, the triangles to that line, to that center line there. And then I'm going to make another area where I wanted a little bit of that jute to come through, just the slightest little line. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint this black as well. What colors would you use in your house? Would you do the jute black and white like I am? Would you add color to it? What would you do here? I'd love to know what you guys would do in your own house because not everybody has the same color scheme in their house. Not everything is black and white. But see how it has just that little tiny line? It came out so cute. So now I'm going to do the white part. So I'm actually going to show you my phone in this video where you could see my inspiration, and they looked dipped. Like they dipped the whole bottom into like a container of paint. But I didn't want to waste that much paint to dip. So I was just going to use some of my white chalk paint, and I do recommend some kind of a chalk paint for this because it does soak up a lot, and acrylic is so liquidy compared to chalk paint. So you can make your own chalk paint, use chalk paint, whatever brand that you like. And it gives it more of that, again, texture look to it. So I ended up getting my spray bottle and adding a little bit of water to the white right onto the rope to help spread it out a little bit because I didn't want it to look splotchy. So you can see right there, as soon as I added the water to it, it's helped spread it out some. So that's some little advice for when you're doing stuff on rope like this, because it just like grabs it in certain spots and doesn't want to spread it as easily as other surfaces. And that's it. It was that easy, guys. I put this up um, on a shelf in my living room. I just used like a plate holder to put it up there. So here's the inspo right there. Obviously different, but you get the point. So I added those two triangles together to make just the three. You could see that I made, just connected it. But this is it. You can make it in any style, any size. You can make it bigger. You can make them smaller. I hope you guys like this. Let me know down below what you thought and what colors and where you would put this in your house.